when you're facing millions of people and you have millions of eyes watching you and you have the criticism.
How do players deal with this?
You have to be able to cope with the pressure. Whenever I think about it, I always get emotional. I remember everyone breaking down. And when you're on the top, don't squash people that don't have as much as you.
Bacary, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you so much.
So Bacary, as we start with every show, what does freedom mean to you?
Well, freedom for me, it's being able to travel, being able to speak up, being able to do whatever you want, but still keeping the guideline that is ours, to keep in mind and to bear in mind that we had an education and not go across the limit. So as long as you're not bothering other people, you're free to do whatever you want.
And I think that's more important today with everything that's going around the world, more than ever. This is a very special episode for me. As you know, I'm a big football fan, and you being the first footballer on the podcast. And actually, I was telling a common friend, Johnny, that I'd love for Bacary to be the first one, because you're also the first one, if you remember, maybe 10, 12 years ago, who led us into Arsenal, the back,
okay.
meet the players, meet the team. It was my first experience there. And I try to be as normal as possible, but it was, a great experience. But now let's go back to, young Bacary. What was life growing up, and how did that environment develop you into, the footballer that you eventually became?
Well, I think coming to football was quite natural for me. I was born and raised south of Paris, 1 hour south of Paris, in a nice environment, chill. And then my brothers, my dad was naturally playing football, not professionally, but at a good level. So I naturally got into football. My dad was watching every single game, any division. So I used to stand by him, watch the game, analyze. And naturally I got attracted to football. So I remember going to Senegal in 1989. I was 6 back then. So when I got back, I got into my first football session. But I hated it for the first 2 weeks, because for me, football was just freedom of playing and not having instructions to stand front, side, and make passes one to each other. And I was not used to this. For me, football was just playing around and on an open field. So suddenly I'm finding myself doing skills exercise, passing, and I was quite bored. And also when you come to an environment where the kids know each other, it's quite difficult. You need to make your own space, and so I was naturally shy. The first weeks was a bit difficult, but then I got to score. So when you score, everything gets easy, and you find love with other teammates, and naturally you grow up, you develop yourself. You learn about yourself. I was a lot into analysis. So before games, I will know which one is faster, which one is slow, which one has a positioning problem on the pitch. So I was analyzing a lot, to be honest. And that helped me a lot in my career. So I developed myself, and until I was the age of 13, I used to play for the team of county. And not far from my house, you had a team called Auxerre. It was a professional team. They had an academy, the first one in France. And I used to play against them since I was young. So they wanted me to join them, but obviously the distance was a bit difficult. It was 1 hour away from my house, so I kept playing for my hometown, and I used to play with some of them in the team of county. And then we have to form the team of region. So we had a tournament, the 4 countries of Burgundy, we had a tournament, and this is when the scout from Auxerre saw me and invited me for 4 days. So I went there, but I hated it. I hated the environment. It was like a jungle, No love, no friendship, totally different from what I knew from football and from being a football team. Adversity. It was very, very strange, And I think my dad felt it. My dad felt it, and I didn't join. And I stayed 2 years more at home until I was 15, and then I ended up joining. But in the meantime, I went to so many academies. So many things happened. And because I was small and I was not better than the kids that were already in the academy, they were training twice a day. I had probably 1 training session a week. It was quite difficult for me to get into an academy. But I naturally joined Auxerre, and this is where it all started.
Now, there are thousands, if not millions, of kids who are on the same journey as you around the world. They play from a young age with a dream of making it to the professional level, but most don't. What makes the difference between they all have talent, but I think there's a thin line between making it to the top and not making it. What do you think that difference is?
Exactly, yes. There is not much difference between professional level and amateur level. There are two things I will say. At the professional level, you have to be able to have quick decision making. You need to adapt to the situation. You need to see faster. You need to anticipate. You need to identify situations, but at a very high pace. So this probably is the main difference between the professional world and someone that doesn't make it. But also, and as I tell my kids, you need to control emotions. It's good to be good during training session. It's good to be good at the amateur level. But when you're facing millions of people and you have millions of eyes watching you and you have the criticism, you have to be able to cope with the pressure. And if you can't control your emotions, it's difficult on the pitch because the environment will play a big part in the way you want to play, in the confidence you're going to have with the ball, without the ball. If you make a mistake during the game, you need to stay in the game because you can destroy the game and you can make the team lose. But the game after, you need to bounce back because you can't afford to make another mistake. Otherwise, you will be withdrawn from the team. So you have so many elements, but controlling emotions while you're playing is probably the most important thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, I've always said football is not just a sport, right? It's a life experience. You learn so many lessons, how to overcome from setbacks to how to, enjoy beautiful moments with your team, how to have teamwork, leadership. I mean, I've learned almost everything from football. Now, the interesting thing you brought up now is, when you make a mistake, when you fail in a game, you got to bounce back and you got to bounce back quick. But today we live in a world that's a bit different than, maybe when you initially started your career, because I think you're kind of shifted both pre and social media era, right? Yes. Now you make a mistake, you go to your social media account, there are thousands of people reminding you, and not just that day, every single day. How do players deal with this?
Well, I remember when Twitter came out, we were not allowed to tweet after games. We were not even touching our phones in the dressing room. We were not taking the phone on the pitch when we won cups. That will be something very different. But obviously, time changes and you need to adapt. But I always say something, you have to be able to take the positive and the negative. It's nice to be having many followers, the likes, the nice comments when you're doing well. But you have to be ready to receive the criticism also. It's not going only one way. So from the minute you decide yourself to have a social media, you have to expect this type of attitude from people. And I don't agree with it, but it's part of the game. And from the minute you have social media, you're exposing yourself. And from the minute you expose your private life, you're exposing yourself also. So I think the players are aware of it. If they can deal with it, I'm not sure. Not everyone is strong enough to deal with being insulted after games or deal with the pressure. And this is probably where you have mental health problem. Players don't talk about it. It's a subject we don't talk enough, especially at a high level. But I always say, if you don't want to have problems, why are you so vocal and so present on social media?
Yeah. One of the reasons that I actually created this show, Freedom or Nothing, is because a lot of people see the end, right? They see, as an entrepreneur, they might see you succeeding, but they don't see the journey. As a footballer, they might just see you on the pitch, but they don't see all the things that you go through, the challenges that you have, the times that you want to quit. But as a fan, you might just look at him and be like, oh, look at this guy. He comes to practice with his Ferrari, lives the luxurious life. Everything is perfect. But the truth is, everybody's going through something. And if you want to achieve success, and if you want to perform at a high level, and if you need to become at the top of your game or your profession or whatever you might be doing, I would say 90% of it is mental, because there's so many things that are pulling you down. How like for you as a player, like what were some challenging moments that you've experienced, and how were you able to pull through those tough times?
Well, whenever I think about it, I always get emotional because you have to go through a lot. It's hard to explain, because even if I explain, you have to live the moment, and it's a tough moment. I remember my mom dropping me every morning at 5:30 a.m. on the car park of my hometown and taking the bus alone. I was leaving my family behind, my friends behind, and I was in tears every morning. Every Monday morning, I was in tears. It was a tough moment, but I knew what was my target. I knew what I wanted to achieve, and when I got to the academy, it was, as I mentioned before, jungle, because you see attitude between us players, because there's pressure, there's competition between other students also, because we are the little celebrities of the school. So either positive or negative, you have good and bad also. You have fights sometimes, you have love. But overall, it's beautiful, and you have to go through moments, deep moments. I remember when I was at the academy, especially my first year, one of our teammates passed away. He had a crash with a motorbike one night. So we were all together at the dormitory, and then we got the news. So I remember everyone breaking down because it was a shock for us. It was a teammate, and also we were not allowed to have phones at that time. You had a break from 8 to 8:30 p.m. because I was in a foot etude. I used to go to a normal college, but then I was training between 1 and 2 and 5:30 to 7:30. So at night we just had from 8 to 8:30 break, and then we had to do the homework. So it was a difficult moment, and you have to raise yourself up, but you don't have anyone to do this with. Only us. You spend 24 hours, 7 with the same guys. These guys become families. They're replacing your family in a way, and one day these guys are leaving also. And that was the case also for me. I was day and night 4 years in a row with my best friend, and one day he had to leave. He left, he went back to home, and that was for me, at my young age, the most difficult moment. When you have someone so close and suddenly someone to speak with, someone to walk around with, and when you spend so many nice moments laughing and sticking to each other, and that person leaves, it's like losing someone basically. But then you have training and you have a game, so you have to deal with emotions. And that was for me at a young age the most difficult period of my development.
Most people don't like changes, most people, I think, I don't know what the percentage is, 80% of people die within 100 miles from where they were born. But in football, change is forced upon you. Whether it's, like you mentioned, one of your closest friends or teammates, all of a sudden they're not there anymore. Or you're playing for a club, and then tomorrow you're playing for a different club. So there's constant change. As you get older, it affects your family, it affects, your daily routine. How is that, as a football professional, how do those changes help you grow and adapt to all these different environments that you were exposed to?
To perform, you have so many elements. To have family stability is one of them. Whenever you have kids, it's not about your own choice. It's about what's good for the family also, because the more they grow up, the most important it is regarding school and their own stability also. So any decision you will take will have an impact on the family, on them, on yourself. So sometimes going to one club to another is not easy because it's a totally different environment. And this is what I found when I left my Arsenal. Arsenal were all young. Most of them were single. or in a young relationship, so no kids, the attitude and mentality was totally different. It was London, diversity of people. It was easy to go back to Paris with Eurostar, and it was so big, so many things to do, so mix of culture, which I like. And then I got to change to city where everyone was busy with their family. Players were not really connecting. A lot of respect between each other, but it was a different mentality because all the players were internationals. So the relationship between each other was different from what I knew at Arsenal. It's Manchester now. It's dark at 3 p.m. So the environment was totally different, and it's one of the elements that will probably play in the way you play. You will have to adapt differently to the team, and sometimes it takes longer. And personally, it took longer for me to adapt to Manchester than it did for Arsenal. I was not pleased with the way I played the first year, but I got affected by the environment and the change, basically. And this is happening to every single player because whenever you leave, most of the time it's your will of living and discovering something new, but you never know what to expect on the other side. And I had an amazing time at City. I found another family, but it was different from what I knew from Arsenal. So sometimes to have the change and to adapt to the change is it's not easy. It's not easy. It takes time. It takes more time. Eventually, it will come.
Yeah.
And we have the example with Mbappe now. Mbappe grew up in Paris. He was born in Paris. He has his family. Everyone is so behind him. And the day he decides to leave, everyone's turned against him. And suddenly he reached a different country, a different language, a different mentality, a different press, a different team that already knows each other and has been successful. So you have many elements, and people will criticize him, but they don't understand how important it is to feel good first. You need to feel good and happy and relax and confident before you're able to play football and enter the pitch, because watching a game from the stand is totally different from being on the pitch. Everything is so different. The angles are different. The pressure is different. The way you will control the ball and see the ball, the pace, everything. You have too many elements, basically, to be able to be on a sustainable career.
You know, everyone has a bad day at office, at work, no matter what job you have, right? But do you think that there is this perception that athletes are not human and they should be perfect all the time?
Yeah. People think you're earning a lot of money. Naturally, you have to be good. It doesn't work that way. You can earn as much money as you can, but we are human. We have emotions. We have setbacks. We have private moments also, and a personal life that can also impact the game. And people don't understand. And if you lose someone, if you do something good, if you have personal problems at home, if you have personal problem with your family, that will affect you. No matter what you say, it can affect you. And that can play a big part on the pitch. You have to be able to block those feelings from the minute you enter the pitch, because people don't care. They pay the tickets, they want to see you perform, and the clubs don't care also. The club doesn't care. You are here to perform, otherwise next. But we know as a player, and this is why we go academies at a young age, they make you savage, they cut your emotional side, and they want to make you ready for what's waiting for you and the adversity. So I think it's useful. It's very useful to go to the academy. Not the best regarding emotions and emotionally difficult, but anyway, it's the premise of what's waiting for you when you become professional.
Bacary, what's harder? The process of making it to the top? As you mentioned, you have to sacrifice a lot. You have to sacrifice even your family, your friends, and you have to be focused, and the trainings and all the things that goes into it. But now when you make it, you've got all the other elements that come up, the changes, the mindset issues, avoiding temptations, because now you have money, you've got fame. So which did you find harder as you've witnessed, players are also from both sides?
Two of them, honestly. The academy side, I always talk about the academy side because Every year, some people are leaving. Every game, you're on the go. Basically, you're alone. You're just alone. No one to talk to. No one to share feelings. You still have to go to school and deliver your homework, but you have much less time to do your homework. So you have to deal with everything at the same time, and you have big hope. People expect a lot from you. Your family, your friends. From the minute you enter an academy, you have to make it because you don't want to go home. Because people will look at you with a fail. So whenever you make it, you have to stay up there. Because one more time, every 6 months you have a transfer window. You have the summer one, you have the winter one. So every year you can disappear from the scene. And depending on where you play, and obviously the higher you play, the more pressure you feel, and then you reach national team also, and you have to perform to stay and play. And honestly, you need to find the right balance in your personal life, but also on the pitch. Sometimes you have to stop being too harsh with yourself. No one is perfect. No one will achieve the full season having perfect games. There's going to be a time even when you're on the top, you're going to fail. But you have to be smart enough to remind yourself how good you are, how long it takes you to go there, and how many efforts you did, and what you went through it. No one can understand, and take it. Take the criticism, take the challenges, because, and especially as a believer, there's no challenge that we can't support. It's not a problem for any one of us to deal with challenges. We all have challenges. Even when you see players smiling, they have challenges. They're just good at hiding it or not showing it and deal with the situation better than other people. But every single player went through something. And I went personally through different moments and difficult moments, especially when I lost my brother, I was in Arsenal my first season, everything was so perfect. I was just best right back in France. I moved to Arsenal. I was performing really well. A lot of good feedback. And then suddenly I lose my brother, so I still have to be good because this is what people expect from me, and most of people didn't know even. And 1 week later, we have the Champions League game against AC Milan, and I was on the pitch. So imagine the emotions you're going through, and still, when you enter the pitch, you see people looking at you. Some find out, so they look at you down, like feeling for you, and you feel like. But still, when you have the ball in the middle and you have the battle, you have to win the battle. So you have to be able to shift from one to another, and it's a skill you have to learn. It's a skill.
In life, I think we all need someone. We can call it as our guide, as our mentor, because we have tough times. Mm-hmm. And as you just said, the world, they might be empathetic, but they'll never understand what you're going through.
Yes.
Who were some of the people that helped you during those tough times, and what was some of the best advice that they gave you to carry you through?
The first one, of course, because honestly, in my life, and every single person I met, there's no. I think I was supposed to meet people in my life at certain period of my life, and my destiny was good because the way it opened up for me was a big push and big help from the Almighty and my parents. My parents, because they left Africa to come and give us a better life in France, and they suffered a lot because you can imagine in '79 a black family coming to France was not easy. You see the situation of France today, so imagine back in the days. You get into a different world and you are the stranger, and you have to be able to deal with it. You have to be able to work and feed your family, and this is what my parents did for us to have a good life. And I had an amazing life as a kid, and I never missed anything, and they always made sure we had everything to be able to be on on the right way, on the right path of life, and they always show support, always. Even when I was down, they will not talk, they will just talk to me, and they will always pray for me. And until today, there is not even a time where I go visit them and I leave them without their prayers. It never happened in my life.
Yeah.
The blessing comes from the parents, and this is a message I want to pass to everyone. The importance of the parents, and how powerful the prayers are. And for me, honestly, I was blessed to have my family and my parents and my brothers and my close friends. So, yeah.
And you don't know how valuable and blessed we are to have good parents until you become a parent, and your entire life shifts from thinking about you and yourself to constantly thinking about your children and what's best for them. And almost your entire life becomes a sacrifice for them. So how did you becoming a parent help you appreciate even your parents more?
Well, that came, for me, it was a mix of emotions, because I lost my brother 2008, February 2008. My son was born 1 year later. So I lost a dear to me, and someone new came to my life. So I was like lost at the beginning. I was like, whoa, I'm 26. This is my son. This is my responsibility. And I started asking myself so many questions. And my son was also not easy, He was active constantly, and I was not used to it. So it was a big blow for me. Like, okay, I got this, and I have to do this. And I find my way with him, to deal with him, to find, I think, a way to raise him, to deal with his emotions, because he's, until today, I call him emotionless. Because he's so, sometimes he doesn't talk. Lovely kid, amazing kid. But his personality was a bit strange as a kid. He was hyperactive, So, but it's the biggest blessing I got. My kids are the most. It's the most beautiful things I got into my life, to be honest.
Yeah.
And you need to raise them, but as I always say, the best of education is a behavior. So if you behave well, your kids will look up to you and do the same. If you treat people well, your kids will treat people the same way. And if you work really hard, people and kids will share moments, and they will witness this. I think it's the biggest and the most important point whenever you educate a kid. Make sure they're good. Make sure they don't focus on valuable things like assets and money, and raise them well. So you need to teach them what it is to respect people, help each other also. It's really important. When you reach the top, you need to be able to help others, because it's a duty and it's a task that was given to you. It's not only for you. God gave you something, and He's watching you, and He's trying to see what are you going to do with it. You need to be able to do good deed to people and change people's life. And this is why today I like any impact businesses. Having impact on people's life and others is, for me, the most powerful tool.
I realized once I became 40, I don't think you were there yet, right?
No.
No. I realized two things. One is you have, because now you have time to look back, right? 40 is like you still feel young, but you look back, you're like, man, that's a lot of years behind me.
It's half time.
Right? Half time. And at halftime, just like in football, you reflect, right? You say, okay, what do I need to change, and what's the good thing that we can continue and develop on? And what I realized is, number one, my God, it's like every single blessing that I've had that I thought is because I worked hard and I did all this, and maybe that's part of it, but it all came a blessing from the top. But then the other thing I realized is, like, how does God bless people, right? So when you pray for something, or when someone else needs something, it's not like it just gets dropped from the sky.
Yes.
God blesses people through other people.
Yes. True.
And we have to ask ourselves, like, Michael, how did I get in this position? How am I so blessed with all these things? Is it just to enjoy it all for myself? Is it just to keep this, and hold it tight for me only? No, you are blessed so that God can use you to bless others.
Exactly.
And a lot of people, I don't think they see that. And that's why you see people who are extremely successful in, one time of their life. And then you look fast forward, even if they still have money or they still have fame, but guess what? They don't have a soul anymore. They're not happy. They've lost it. And, and in today's world, it seems like a lot of people just want to show off and how good they are, where really to win the game is about, like you said, creating more impact. What can people do today? Even if you don't have millions of dollars in your bank account, even if you don't have millions of followers, if you're just a simple person, what are some small acts that people can do to create a bigger impact in this world?
Well, unfortunately, it's a society we live in. People are too focused on having assets, having money, having Bitcoin, crypto. This is a subject.
I lost a lot of Bitcoin, so don't. Anyways, yeah.
So it's a world we live in.
Yeah.
I want to say, unfortunately, the way we grew up was different. We just needed a ball and everyone was playing together. Sometimes kids were walking past and, can I play? Yes, of course, come. No matter the religion, no matter the social rank, no matter the age, the skin color, we were all kids. And I love kids because they don't have that dark side, they're genuine. People always tell me, especially when I take my kids to training session, I spend a lot of time in Abu Dhabi, and I see kids playing around, barefoot, and I just look at them and say, happy people, because they don't know the dark side, they're not into this life, and sometimes if you make it, yes, of course, you've worked for it, but it's not about you. Someone opened the door for you, and when you're on the top, don't squash people that don't have as much as you. We're all different. I'm not going to start adopting Cristiano Ronaldo's life and start looking up to him and try to cope with his life. I'm going to be broke tomorrow. So you have to be happy with what was given to you. Some people are more, some have a lot less. But overall, it's not about the money. And I made that mistake too. When I was young, if I become a player, I want to have this amount of apartments. I need to have a big house. I need to have a nice car. But I got a good education. Even when I never lost my way because I always remember my dad talking to me for hours on the way to training session. And every time, even until today, if I buy something, I think about my dad. I see his image and his eyes and his words. I can hear them till today. This is the impact he had on me. And I got given a lot. And most of people, they tell me, why are you so nice with people? Because people take everything for free and they always end up being sneaky with you. And I was like, whatever they do, if their problem, they will have to fix it. I do good deed for myself because I got given something and now I have to give back. It's not only take. So as much as I make people happy, I open doors for them. I make them join an event, make them come to the game. Something they can buy. You can't buy these moments. Coming to Arsenal, you can't buy this. Coming to national team, you can't buy it. So it's something special that I'm able to give to people and I just do it naturally because that makes me happy actually. When I see them smiling and happy and excited, I remain silent, but I see them like jumping over the moon. And these moments, even with money, you can't buy it. What you give to people, you can't. And that fulfilled me as a person, and I know I'm making this one happy. So hopefully I'll keep and I'll be able to do it, and I want to achieve even more. So,
I mean, that's what I said in the beginning of the show, that the first time I went into the Arsenal locker room was, when I was with Anas, and I didn't know you at the time, but through Anas, You gave us 2 tickets, and I was there, and I was trying to hide as hard as I could how happy I was. I really was, because I'm seeing you, Ozil's behind me. I'm just like, what is this? And these guys are real. And then you took us to the pitch, got to experience Emirates Stadium for the first time. I mean, these things. I mean, now I've done it a few times afterwards, but there's nothing like the first time. And I just saw that you didn't just give us access; you gave us a tour. Like, you wanted to make it special. Mm-hmm. You could have just said, "Okay, guys, come in, hang out and stuff." No, but you wanted to make it special. You took us where the players sit. I remember eating a banana on the table. But it's life is. It's one of my mentors, actually. One of the best lessons I've ever learned is I was a marketer, so I asked this guy named Bacary Sagna, who's one of the best marketers in the world. I sent him an email. Honestly, I didn't even think he was going to respond. The guy has sold over billions of dollars worth of products and services, very well known. So I'm like, I'll take a shot. Maybe he'll respond. So I said to him, hey, I'm a copywriter. I write ads, and I'm trying to figure out, how to really make my ads stick and generate more sales and attention, all that stuff. What's the best advice you can give me? I still have the email. So he responds and says, you have to make your ads in itself valuable. In other words, don't just put ads there talking about yourself and how good your products is or how good your service is. But when people read your ad, make them learn something, even if they don't buy it from you. In other words, lead with value. That's the words I'm getting to. Yes. To lead with value. Bacary, ever since that moment, every single time that I meet somebody for the first time, for the second time, doesn't matter. I'm constantly thinking, what can I do for you? I don't care if you're richer than me, famous, I don't care.
Yes.
What can I do for you? Because everybody is looking for something. Everybody has a problem that they're looking for a solution. Everybody is struggling with something. It might not be obvious, but most people don't even ask. And what I realized is this. What I realized is that my life, it's crazy. Right, and this is where I talk about how now I look back and I'm like, how did all this happen? Like, I got to play with Diego Maradona. Like, I'm a big football fan. I got to see Arsenal. I got to meet some of the players. I got to become with. But how? It's all because I gave value to somebody who introduced me to who in return, without me even asking, opened another door for me, and then that door led to something else. But I never directly asked for whatever it is that I got in the end. But most people, I don't know if you feel the same way, when they meet somebody for the first time, especially if it's someone who is successful, they're thinking, what can I get from you? What can I gain from you? What can I take from you?
Yes.
But the reality is the answer is the opposite.
You have 2 types of people. The one that needs, but are genuine, that will also give away. And you have the one that just take and think everything was for themselves. As long as they're doing well, they're on the spotlight, whatever is around, they don't care. Those people, at the stage of my life, are out. They were not out years ago, because I was stupid. I was thinking, everyone makes mistakes. It's okay. I will try to change these people. You don't change people. You don't change people. You think, I'm strong enough. No, I will show him that. Maybe if I try to explain. These people, if they have one bad habit, being sneaky once with someone, they will start again. And I always say, whatever you need, ask me. If I'm able to do it for you, I will do it. But I want something. I want you to be genuine. Don't start playing around or making stories to bring me into your story and try to make me guess. This I don't like. It means you've been sneaky with your words. If I ask you a question from the beginning and you are like that, and then I found out, I'm not going to like it. And it happened in my life many times. That destroys relationship between people because you can't trust. And from the minute you can't trust, you can't stay around with people. That's impossible. Because from the beginning, you didn't start on a good note. You're out of it. And you feel uncomfortable. Oh, you will never forget this. You can't forget. So, my advice for people is no problem in asking if you meet someone, because you might suppose one more time to meet someone, but you have the way of doing things. Just be crystal clear why you want to play around and try to set up situations for yourself, just for you to be in a good position to be able to talk, no matter the subject. Just be honest in yourself. And people will give more value to this, because they will say like, you know what, this guy is straight, but he's honest. I can trust him. And when you're honest with people, and you do things for people and you give away, as you mentioned, that will get back to you. 100%. 100%. And if I talk about my life and the way I met some of the people I got into business with today, you'll be like, nah, you have destiny and you are supposed to do things. And when you give, don't expect back. Don't think, yeah, but I gave him. No, give or don't. I would rather someone not giving than telling me, oh, I gave him this, but when I needed him, but he doesn't have, you decided to give him. He doesn't have to give you back. This is in your world. But if you give something and you see someone doing well, and that someone built a big business, stop saying and telling people, oh, you know, he started because of me. What does it mean?
Yeah.
Be happy and let people enjoy. And that person knows. And I have one example. One guy called Yanimais. It's a big, I don't know how to describe him today. He's one of my closest friends. You know, when I got to London, I bought a car through him. We became friends. I bought a car, and then he got access to... Yeah. He never made an interview without mentioning me. I didn't do anything. What people don't know is, yes, of course, I was his first client. I introduced players to him. But why? Because he was genuine from the beginning with the prices, with everything. When he added something, he always told me it's a fair price. I could trust him 100%. So because I trust him, I want the player to trust him, because from the minute I send him to someone, it's my responsibility. He got into the players. Great job, amazing, but something people don't know. Of course, he's big today. He has his YouTube channel. He has his TV show. But Yanni used to be up at 5 a.m. every morning. So I didn't do anything. Naturally, I introduced him to players, but he made the job. He woke up, he set up his alarm every day at 5 a.m. It's not falling from the sky. You have a lot of business ideas. People feel sorry for themselves. I see some kids complaining, oh, we don't find job, we don't do this, we don't do that. Okay, what do you do for yourself?
Yeah.
Do you speak other languages? Because most of people, if I take the example of French young kids, they only speak French. What can you do with French in the world? Nothing. So instead of going to the lounge and spending hours doing I don't know what, get some English lessons. Open yourself to the world. Because as long as you're not going to be able to talk and communicate, you're not going to open doors for yourself. So you have a way of making it to the top. For players, it's a case. Okay, we are at the top, we earn money. But academies, they are free. It's a free academy. We don't pay to go to academy. We got given legs, brain sometimes, good one.
Sometimes on off.
Sometimes weird one.
Yeah.
But the chance is here for everyone. So it's how much you want it, how much you want to take it. And people always ask me, oh, is it difficult? I tell kids, it's not difficult to be professional. Trust me. You need the discipline. You need to be a hard worker, because it's tough, it's difficult every day. You don't want to be running 10 kilometers. You don't want to be doing pre-season, then your legs hurt. Some give up. But when it's difficult, this is when you have to push even more. Your body will adapt, because we start pre-season, we hurt. Our body, you don't want to know. I hate running. But when I got given a task or a run to do, I was always trying to be first. I was not always the first, but I was at my max.
Yeah.
And naturally, you move on in life. And it's the same for business. You have a lot of business ideas, but you need to start, as you mentioned, when you message or email that person, understanding who you are and what you want, and understanding others more than understanding yourself. Because there is a need. People have need. People come to you with a need. So whenever you make a business, you need to answer back to that need. And then suddenly doors open. When you look at some big brands of today, the one we use to move around is answering to people's need. If you want to order something, it's responding to the demand. If you want to eat, you can order food, right? Mm-hmm. It's answering one more time to people's demand. In the morning, people need their coffee. People need coffee, they can't avoid it. So if you're in the coffee business, you have a big chance of being successful, because no matter what, people will still have their coffee in the morning. But you have two types of people. The one that want to answer back to the demand or respond to the demand, and the one that wants to do what they love when they want. It's not about what you love. When you play football, you have to respond to the need, the demand of the game. You have to respect the game. And one more time, to get back to football, you have two types of players. The one that are able to understand situation, when to give the ball away and not lose the ball. And the one that don't lose the ball but takes the wrong decision every time. This one is not going to go far because he's stubborn. He's not learning. He's doing what he wants. You have to do in life what's required to do.
Mm-hmm. Now, you played obviously at the highest level in football, played in multiple World Cups, but now you transitioned into a different world. How has that transition been like from, the media world that you're in to also starting some of your ventures? I think Grabby Pack, another app. Just kind of walk us through how that transition has been and what are some of the things you're working on today.
Well, we were talking about destiny and the path you go through. So the way I stopped football was a bit harsh. I received a text message from one day to another while I was supposed to renew my contract. But it's football, you have to be able to take things as it come and to move on. So before that, prior to that, I was in City. And then when I left Man City, I got some offers. I was free agent. But I turned them down all. Why? Because I was not valued at my real value. I was still in the national team or at the edge of national team. I was leaving Man City, one of the biggest clubs in the world. I was free agent, so no fees in transfer. But club approached me with discount contract. So I respect myself. Mm-hmm. I refused everyone. I accepted one. Kind of. I started being deep in conversation with one, but that club ended up disrespecting me. They made me wait 8 hours on my sofa like a dog. No problem, I take it. 2 days later, they asked me to go and start training with them while they find a solution. I'm not to back up. I'm not going on trials or training session with them. I respect myself one more time. And I refused. And it was a good contract. But I don't have any problem with that. It represented money, but my own parents never disrespected me. I'm not going to accept someone, club's entity, or to disrespect me. I need only one, this one. That's it. He opened doors for you. You don't need no one. You don't need to use people. Ask him, he will open doors for you his way. And he did for me, because while I was not playing, can you imagine, I was in a 200 million pound facilities. I was surrounded by international players, big salaries. I was in the spotlight. 1 year before that, I was playing the European Cup final against Portugal, and suddenly I'm home. No salary. I go to the gym. I meet one guy that approached me, a PT, and he started telling me, I'm a PT, I see you're not playing, why? So I explained to him briefly, and he told me, oh, I can help you if you want. And genuinely, so I just look at him and I was like, okay. He became my PT randomly. So we went on a community pitch, me and him. it's like crazy, and I'm sitting there, and like you can go and check my Instagram. I was training alone with him, and I used to see and watch TV and my teammates playing on TV. In the meantime, a club approached me. I met some coaches shaking my hands, never get back to me. Why? I don't know. One day, the right back of AC Milan got injured. His agent messaged me, and I was like that with agent, but I didn't know it was genuine at the time. So he messaged me saying, "Oh, the right back got cruciate ligament. It's not out on the press, and now I have a chance to put you in AC Milan because the coach is my client, basically." I read the message, and I didn't answer because I had kind of issue with them as a group before I associated him to this. But I'm too straight. I didn't go. And I was like, okay, what now? One day I decided to go see my parents. I missed the first train. I got into the train, and before the door closed, I have this guy coming in with his son, and he's looking at me, he's on the phone, he's agitated, and he tells me, "Oh, how are you?" I say, "I'm good." And he goes like, "Oh, why are you here? What are you doing here? I know you, I used to see you, we're from the same hometown. I own the gin shop, basically. Short story, long story, I ended up sitting next to him because I have the free seats, and I tell him, "You want to sit?" And he started telling me, "Do you mind?" I was like, "No, it's okay." And me, I'm very shy, I'm very, But I opened up to him, and he goes like, "I'm a creator." I was like, "What?" He said, "I'm a creator." I said, "Oh, really?" "Yes." "What did you create?" "Oh, I created a flying bag." Imagine, it's 8 a.m. I was like, "What do you mean, a flying bag?" He said, "I created a bag that stands on itself." I was like, "Okay, and what do you mean?" He goes like, Concours Lépine? Concours Lépine is an innovation contest, international innovation contest that takes place every year. I say, "Oh, yeah, I remember." He said, "Well, out of 526 people, I came second." I looked at him. So my reaction was, I knew I was supposed to meet him. I knew. From that minute, I knew I was supposed to meet him. That's crazy. And I was like, "Really?" He goes like, "Yes." I said, "Tell me more about it." And he said, "Look, my son was born blind." He started having tears coming. I have 4 kids. One was born blind, and I had to walk by him. I had to be his size. I had to take him to football, but no one took him. I had to buy his computer, but suddenly it's 3,000 euro because you have Braille. So I'm discovering slowly the life of being disabled. I'm like, "Oh." And he goes like, "I want you to do something for me." So yes. I say, "Well, first of all, what is your technology?" So it's like, my technology is able to be uplift of the charge of the bag. I was like, "What do you mean?" Say, "My technology absorbs the weight. It's a load decrease of 92% on the charge of a backpack." I was like, "What?" He said to me, 92% off the load. So basically, if you put 10 kg, you will be able to lift 2 kg, more or less. I was like, "How? Why? What do you mean?" He was like, "Yes." When you got there, my brother was here. I was like, "Come." We got to visit the boots. I try, and it's super light. And I'm like, "What do you mean? How? I don't understand." I open, I see bottles, I see books. And then I was like, he said to me, "We have to meet up, but I want you to do something for me." Because I saw how my son suffer, I want to open disabled schools in Africa, starting with Morocco because I'm Moroccan. "I want you to do this." I was like, "Okay." He was like, "Really?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Just like that?" I said, "You won't understand me, but yes." And then eventually, because I'm a believer, I called my friend here and I was like, I need to make istikhara prayer, the consultation prayer.
So,
And I did it. And I don't watch movie. You understand? And then I ended up watching Bird Box, where they need to hide eyes. Okay. And the story of that movie, it's you need to follow the bird's noise. The more it intensifies, the closer you get from the safe place. Okay. I don't know if you remember what is a safe place.
the disability school, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after praying istikhara, I'm just watching the movie while I don't watch movie at all. And the safe place is a disabled school in a movie. And I was like, oh my God. And basically anything that I did afterwards, and even starting my app, was random. I met my partner at a baby christening. So we ended up talking. I didn't take any phone number, nothing. And at the end of the day, I bounced on him on the street. And one more time, he tells me, so what about your project? I was like, I didn't start. He said, why? I said, because I need someone like good and someone that's stick by me. He was like, okay, let's meet up, have a coffee. So we had a coffee, and today this guy is my business partner. And he moved to Dubai. And basically, we created an app to have an impact on kids, on the life, to help the parents understanding how they can protect the integrity of the kids. I want every single person that is in football today to be sustainable, not to be able to have an agent, to understand on the big lines how football works, because all my life people ask me the same question. People got stuck, many got screwed. And when I didn't play, I was like, how am I in this situation? Why? Me. With my name, with my career, being in the national team, I mean, situation where clubs think I'm not serious because 4 agents decided to join the same club because they saw me as an opportunity. It's not fair. Why? I was like, I need to stop this. So he put me in situations to force me thinking differently, out of the box. And you are talking about blessings. People think blessings is money, assets, power, but it's not. Because a lot of blessings comes with something we believe to be negative for ourselves. And this will put you on the right path. That will set you up differently. You will think differently. You will start doing things that you were not doing before, learning new skills, meeting new people, going to different places, travel, no matter what it is. In my life, honestly, the biggest blessing was something I believed to be negative. But I ended up finding out that the negative I would thought was probably the biggest blessings I got, because that pushed me to do differently and do different things and get into businesses. You understand? So blessing doesn't always come in a nice way. Sometimes you're pushed out. You're pushed into a negative mood, into an uncomfortable zone. And that period is probably the most important if you're able to keep the head up and keep going forward.
Yeah. I love what you said, because one of the most profound discoveries that I've learned in life, and it's simple, but it's so life-changing, is that anytime that something happens, something negative, something bad, instead of asking, why did this happen to me? I ask, why did this happen for me? Right? And I can give you an example. I'll tell you the details after the show. I don't want to get into it here, but 3 weeks ago, something happened that really, and I don't usually lose sleep, but I've lost sleep more than usual. But then I kept, as hard as it is, because again, at the end of the day, I'm a human. I just kept saying, why did this happen for me? Okay, I know there's something positive. Just last night, I'm out, similar story, out with a friend, having, coffee, late night coffee, don't ask why. And that turned into an opportunity that now I can link back and say, okay, that makes sense. So you have to become a believer that the universe, Allah, they're working for you. When something happens to you, you might not see the reason in the next 5 minutes,
Yes.
or the next week, or the next month even. But sometimes people don't have patience. And as Muslim, one thing I learned is, there's a surah Al-Asr, right? And I remember one time when Sheikh, some guy that used to teach us Quran, he used to say, look, there's a lot of surahs in the Quran. But if there's just one surah that you live by, is Surah Al-Asr. And in that surah, without getting into all these, it just basically God saying, look, most of the people in this world are lost, except for those who tawasaw bil haqq, who treat with fairness, and that can be dissected in so many different ways, and sabr, patience. And that's part of the universe. That's part of God testing your patience. I mean, you had so many opportunities. You played at the top. You played for the biggest clubs. You played at the biggest stage any footballer can ever reach, the World Cup. But then there you are, people just not even showing the respect that you deserve. And you could have at any moment, this is really something I admire, that you had self-respect, you had your value. A lot of people, it's so easy when you're in a desperate situation to devalue yourself. You say, okay, you know what? Since it's the only offer on the table, I'll go for it. And people do this. This is how most people lose their dreams. This is how most people lose their freedom. It's not because you can't attain it. It's because you settle for something less. But if you believe and you accept the fact that God's working for you, the universe is there to support you, but you just have to be patient and you just have to continue the work and you just have to do your part. Sooner or later, it's inevitable for you to ultimately get what it is that you're going after.
I agree, 100%. Nothing happened by chance. It's a maktub. It's written.
Maktub.
It's written somewhere.
Yep.
This is your path. This is our way of positive and negative.
Yeah.
People want to take the positive. When the negative is coming, why?
Yeah.
But there's a reason behind anything. There is, most of the time when something happened to you, it's because it was meant to be and it's gone. Just look forward and keep doing, keep living and keep being straight to yourself, true to yourself. And honestly, personally, I'm glad it happened to me because I was able to see clearly. I was able to see who was coming to see me in London. Because to come and see me in the games is easy. No matter what it is, no matter if you have Champions League final in 4 hours fly, they will fly, people will fly, of course. Because, it's a final, they want to take snaps, in the stadium, But when I was on that community pitch, I was alone with the coach. 3 people visited me. 3. Every single game, Arsenal, my box was full. Every single time I was going national team, I was buying 15 extra tickets. I was having 3,000 euro bills in tickets in a national team. It's a natural cleanup. Allah put me in a situation where He can tell me, you don't want to see by yourself? I will show you. And He did, and I'm glad He did. Because today I live in Dubai, yes, it's peaceful, but no one will dare even message me. Because when I was alone, I was alone. And some close people from my entourage also look down to me. Because I'm not on the spotlight. You understand? They like to be part of events. They like to go to stadiums. They like to, It's about them. Because when they're around me, it's good. They look good. Open doors. But when they lose those entries, basically it's low value for you. And it's honestly, I'm telling you, it's the biggest blessing I got.
Absolutely.
The biggest blessing I got in my life was not positive. It was negative. And I'm telling you, and I'm telling people, when something negative happened to you, it's because Allah is protecting you from something worse.
100%.
But you don't see it at first. You don't understand. You're thinking you're hurt. Why? You're not hurt in a way that makes you sad, but you don't understand.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you say, Alhamdulillah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, it happened.
Yeah.
But that requires time. After a while, sometimes 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, you need to be patient. And one day, eventually, you will understand why it happened.
Yeah. I'll tell you, in 2011, October, I break my leg, just like Eduardo, right? Turned the other way, horrible. I'm like, why? Why, God? I didn't do anything wrong. I never hurt people. October, November, middle of December, 2 months and a half. I'm sulking, just a natural transition, right? Like, I love playing football. It was it meant a lot to me. Now, this horrible injury, pain, you name it. Middle of December, I'm like, dude, this is not helping. Look positive. I decide, because now I'm just sitting at home, couldn't walk, couldn't do much, start my business. January, I officially launched my business. By February, I made more money than I made the entire year. 1 month and I never looked back. And that's actually the year I came to Arsenal, and I call it my lucky break.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see it at the time, but I'm telling you, today you asked me what's the 5 top things or best things has happened in your life. As surprised this might sound, breaking my leg.
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy. So how many things can we all look into and say, oh my God, like I didn't see it then, but today is one of the best things that's happened to me. So it's all about having perspective. And like I said, why did this happen for me? Talking about injuries, one thing you said that's funny, because I want to shift a little bit into Dubai with a little time that we have. I remember when I first met you, I don't know if you remember this, you said when players get injured, like a hamstring pull, players don't say ow, they say Dubai. Right? I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, because now it means you're off a couple of weeks. And
that's true.
So what makes Dubai special, as not only as a place that players and people all over the world used to come and visit, but now as a resident, as someone who lived here and moved your family here, like what makes Dubai the special place that everybody sees in the world today?
For me, it's a different experience. I will answer people and my close friends, because the way they're taking care of me and they took care of me, I'll be forever grateful. The first one was Ahmed Ben Sassi, the one I met in London. Unexpectedly, one more time, we ended up talking for 1 hour, and he's telling me I'm from Dubai. And I'm like, where is this? He was like, you don't know Dubai? And that was back 2008. He said, you have to come, get my number, very friendly, very smiley, good energy. Get my number, you have to come next summer, you have to come. I'm like, okay. So we exchanged number. And I was out that night, I remember. I go home, 3 a.m., Google, Dubai, images, and I see Burj Al Arab Hotel, I see Jumeirah, I see Al-Barari development, I see the Palm. I'm like, what is this? I see the sea, it's on the sea, Middle East, like Middle East traduction, Moyen-Orient in French. I was like, oh, okay. And I ended up being here in the summer 2009. First night, I go out, we same dinner. Next day, he tells me, look, can I ask you something? I say, yeah. He tells me, could I invite my friends? Because I told them I went dinner with you and the crazy Arsenal fans, and I don't know if you don't mind. And I said, yeah, sure, bring them. He didn't know. I was like super chill. And all those guys today are my closest friend. I mean, Khalfan, the Belhoul's family, Zaki, Yusuf Abil, all my close friends from today, my brothers, I want to call them my brothers. The one that really made me discover Dubai, and every time I was coming to Dubai, was taking care of me. Abu Bakr, you know Abu Bakr? He took care of us. He took us to Formula One. Something he did generally was a blessing to me.
Yeah.
And today they made my Dubai experience different. Dubai would have been very different if I didn't meet these guys. They made me feel home. They made me feel comfortable. Everything I need eventually, they will be the first one to give. I don't ask. But I know that we got each other's back. Anything I can do for them regarding football tickets, shirts, I will go ups and down just for them to get it, because I would love to please them, because they're so genuine. And because of them, Dubai is my Dubai.
Absolutely.
Because Dubai is a fantastic place. For me, it's the best in the world. Number one, people used to tell me, why are you going to Dubai? Why don't you go America and Miami and Los Angeles? And like, I was like, are you guys crazy? But that was back in 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
Today they tell me, oh, you were right.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I told you to go there a long time ago. Because the well-being, you feel home. It's a lifestyle. You feel good in Dubai. It's like a luxury Africa. You have both sides. I love going to Deira, to Satwa, spending time with the community, with people, eating with my aunts. Sometimes I take masala dosa, I eat with my aunts. Like, I feel like this is African part out of me. But if I want something a bit fancy, you can still find it. You can find yourself and choose yourself what you want. But the vibe, waking up with Adhan as a Muslim, is... You can't understand. I grew up in a country where being a Muslim is not easy. France, especially with all the rules they're making now, it's a choice. But coming to a Muslim country where everything is easier and made for us, not only for Muslim, for people living here, even expats, the life expats have here is totally different from what's expected before they came, I believe. Because we have fantastic leaders that are thinking about the people first. It's not about them. Yes, it's a country, but people live in our country. How can we make them feel comfortable? How can we help them develop themselves? Whether it's for business, family side, they always try to put her first. And they understood. They got given a lot just to come back. They got given a lot. They just give back to people. They want to make people's life comfortable. If you visit someone, they will bring the whole kitchen, right? Dates, gawa, karak, anything like, I don't know, some of the dessert. You live there, you will have put on 5 kg. Because they want to make you happy. They want to make you feel comfortable. And this is also my culture. So I feel home, really, here.
What people don't realize is that when you live here, it's a little different than when you're a tourist, right? So when you're a tourist, you come, you go to the Burj Al Arab, all the tourist side. But when you live here, it comes with a different level of comfort. You might not go out much, and if you go out much, it's just like you mentioned, you meet your friends, right, and just do something chill. But the fact is that, as you mentioned, they have leaders that are they're not politicians. Like in the West, someone will come, we will do X, Y, and Z, I promise, but nothing gets done. Here, things change and things move so fast. When there's a problem, before you can clarify the problem, there's already a solution That's how things move fast here. So it gives you a peace of mind that you know that people are working behind your back to make your life better.
Yes.
So you can actually focus on your family, you can focus on yourself, you can focus on the things that really matter to you. And that's really what I enjoy the most here, that I just have a peace of mind that I don't worry about the things that I don't need to focus on, you know? And you can't say that in the West. Every day there's a new problem, whether it affects you or it does, or you're involved. It has to get you somewhere. It's schools. You know, you send your kids to school, you don't know what's going on. You go to work and you don't know what might happen because of the people that you work with. I mean, there's so many uncertainties. People just have this stress and this energy that, like, no one's enjoying life, right? And it comes through. Where here, whether you're making a fortune or you're someone in the middle or someone below, everybody has a thing for them. They find a space where they can be, hang out. And you want to eat at a $1,000 restaurant, go ahead. But you can go to a cafeteria for $2, $3, have a full meal. Mm-hmm. Where else can you do that in this world?
Nowhere.
Yeah,
it's unique. Dubai is special. Dubai is for the people that never visited Dubai. Honestly, I stopped believing the media.
Yeah.
Because the media, of course, the media is trying to retain their own people in the country. The knowledge has to stay in the country. They don't want people to escape.
When I go to America, people think Dubai is a desert. They're like, oh, you go. And you know what I say? Yes, because I don't want them to come. I was like, yeah. But the truth is, if they knew exactly what this is, there's no going back. I always say, come to Dubai for.
But this is what the Western countries are doing.
Yeah.
They don't want people to escape the country.
Of course.
So
taxes.
France. What happened in France? People complain. I will explain things. People complain why French people don't speak English. But from the young age, we watching movie is in French. No subtitles. It should be in VO, original version, with French subtitles. No. They speak French with no English subtitles. We grew up that way. We watch cartoons this way. In any other countries, Germany, Norway, Denmark, it's English with Danish subtitles. So naturally, you grew up learning English. The only notion we get of English, it's at 10 years old. Halas, your brain is done.
Yeah.
At 10, you're different. At young age, you're like a tape. You put information. At 10, to learn proper English, not, it's raining, it's snowing.
Yeah.
This is useless. This is how we get to learn English. This is why French people can't speak. But I was the first one to think, why don't they do this? Now I understand. What's going to happen if they did? Do you think the young generation will be in France today? No. Of course they will come here, they will go to America. But what is the best way? And one more time, this is to think out of the box. You need to raise yourself the right questions. What is the best way to retain people? Make them depend on you. And today, a lot of people are depending on others. And it's the same case for Americans. I lived a bit up there. I loved my experience in America. I got to visit many cities. But the mindset is totally different.
Yeah.
For them, and the government did something amazing because they made them believe America is the best
100%.
Country in the world.
Yeah. We were with Anas and Khalfan and Gary Vee. And Gary Vee said something that's so true. He said America, what they're really good at is media.
Yes.
They can make you believe anything. And one of the things I noticed growing up there is this: America preaches independence, but they breed society of dependence. You think about everybody, I'm going to vote for this guy because he is going to change my life. He is going to make my life better. I need to do X, Y, and Z. No. You need to look into yourself and figure out, why are you in this trap? And how do you get out of it? Because if you're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, if you believe the same thing that everybody else believes, you're not going to change, right? So for me, that's why in 2016, I knew the moment. I was in a car. I looked to my left. It was when Trump was coming on power, right? And it said Allahu Akbar with a X mark. And then I looked to my right, there's a car with a Confederate flag. At that moment, I just got a feeling inside. I'm like, this is not the America that I knew. And I made a decision to come to Dubai. It was it wasn't easy. It was anytime, as you know, you move an entire family, four kids, it's not easy. But you look back today, it's like, this is the most freedom I've experienced in my life. And what does that freedom mean? It just means, like I said earlier, I'm not bombarded with news and all these shenanigans that have nothing to do with me. I focus on my family. I go after my dreams. I do what's best for them, and I look to get better day by day while creating a bit of impact on the way. And just in the last, I know we have a few minutes, you just became ambassador for the Dubai Sports Council. What's that experience been like, and what are some of the things that you're trying to achieve in this role?
Well, first of all, I've been honored to be an ambassador, to try and bring my experience into the grassroots here. And depending, no matter the sports, I think when you're a sportsman, you understand the value of being a sportsman, the efforts that requires to be to the top at any level. From the minute you get into sports, you need to come out of your comfort zone, and I value this a lot. So if my experience can help others to get better or to build legacy or to try and build maybe a grassroots and try to help others now, because this is what it is about. Mm-hmm. I was lucky enough to be able to be coached by the best coaches. Arsène Wenger, Didier Deschamps, Laurent Blanc, Pep Guardiola, Giroud in France. It's knowledge. Knowledge is a powerful tool. That knowledge, I can't die with that knowledge. I have to give back, because that will not be fair. And I believe the government understood that we have an added value to the country, and we can maybe help them raise awareness about how important sport is and how our experience can beneficiate to others. And this is what it is about. One more time, it's about giving back what you got to learn and moments, bringing the spotlight into Dubai, because many sports, of course, football for me is sports number one, but I give you an example, Dubai Basket. Dubai Basket is amazing, the vibe, the mix of nationalities in the squad. When you look at the vibe, I was there yesterday again, and it's something crazy, but I start liking basketball, and it's not NBA. Right. I start being very supportive in the Dubai team. Usually people, Chicago Bulls, but I start developing love for the team. And this is happening now. So if we can bring the spotlight into any kind of sports. I was yesterday on the beach, Kai Beach, there were a swimming event. People who used to swim 10K. Who swim 10K? So I just heard noise and I saw music and I approached. And then I discovered that those people, they were competing and swimming 10K. You know how much it requires to swim 10K? How many hours of training session? And those people, they deserve to be on the spotlight. And maybe some of them or some of their kids have a natural ability to become who we were as a sportsman, but they don't know. Mm. And meeting someone can be a big difference, because today people will say, oh, it's Dubai. There's no way you can have athletes. I will answer why. My question is why. You have the best grounds, the best doctors, the best facilities. You start having the best kids.
Vision.
Because all the parents of the kids that used to play in big clubs and good clubs in France, they're living in Dubai now. So those kids are here today on the ground. You have an amazing vision. They're opening doors to foreigners now, to homegrown kids. So today it's able and it's possible to be able to represent UAE national team in sports. That was not possible before, because one more time the leaders understood this is a big value to their country, to our country. My son is the best example. He plays for Al Jazeera today, academy. He's eligible to play for the national team. And if you told me before, he's going to play for UAE, I will think, oh no, UAE? Why? I want him to play for France, England. Because this is how I got sold a project of prestigious team. But the more I see him playing here and he got called up with under 15, you don't want to imagine how I felt and how he felt, also the pride he had. And I'm pleased to see this happening in Dubai because it's trending so fast, and to be here and witness this is fantastic, and to be able to go into a contact of those kids, to have word with them, to make workshop, to make them realize there's a thin line between what they are today and what they can become tomorrow. It's about belief. And obviously it's easier for those kids to believe me than believe whoever.
Of course.
And this is what we will try to do, to try to bring belief into these kids and try to build their character and to build maybe the athletes from tomorrow, because you're surely going to have athletes coming from Dubai on the international scenes, in football clubs, in Olympics, or no matter the sports.
Yeah.
They need to believe in themselves. And this is why we're here. This is why we are ambassadors today, to try and bring this to the life, to be an addition.
Absolutely, and I can already see how this is impacting, at least in the football. I mean, you're involved in a lot of different sports, but you know, I was watching the UAE national team play against Qatar a few weeks back, and it was a clinic. And if you look at, you know, how this new format of them saying, okay, we're opening the door to everybody. And this is not something new, obviously, right? I mean, like, I'm from America. You look at our national team. We have, almost 360 million people in America, yet we have Mexican players in our team. We have Weah, right? Timothy Weah. So we have players from all over the world, because regardless of where they came from, you know, they've become Americanized, and now they're able to represent our national team. But now you look at a place like Dubai, where I think you can find more international community here than anywhere else in the world. And if now these families that come here, whether you're from France or Senegal or Somalia or Mexico or Germany, and you have an opportunity to develop here, and you have, as you've seen, or as you're part of, the vision that's being set forth, you know, with Dubai Sports Council, and to develop sports and to make this, you know, a main focus in this area. And now with the doors open to everybody, I can only imagine how competitive not only Dubai will be in football, which is obvious, but in all other sports, basketball, swimming, you name it.
Yeah, it's a place where you have a lot of expats.
Yeah.
Those expats are ready to compete, to defend, I believe, the country also.
Yeah.
To be able to represent a country. It's powerful, you know. So there's a chance for them now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one more time, they need to start working now. It's a long process. You don't become an athlete because you're surrounded by ex-athletes. It's a grind every day. And kids, they need to understand something. Anything is possible. The door is open now. The door is open. So they have 7-8 years to develop themselves individually, to develop their mindset, to become athletes in the mind. So I know it's a temptation city with all kind of food available, but what do you want for yourself? You have a choice. Anything is available in Dubai, but it's your own choice at the end of the day. If you want to become professional, it's your own choice. People will say, oh, no. Oh, all the clubs, they're coming here. All the scouting, they're coming here. All the coaches are coming to Dubai. More than any other city. If you are in Paris, you're going to have scouts from Paris Saint-Germain. Okay. And it's an international city where all the world is coming. So basically, you're going to have the spotlight and the vision. You're going to be exposed, but you have to be good.
Yeah.
And you have to believe in yourself. It's not only being good with your feet. You have the body language, mentality, the attitude. But if no one ever told them, they are kids. They need to hear it from someone. And it's good to, and I'm pleased to see the change happening, because it's healthy for sports. It will bring competition, and you try to get the best out of each other by having competition. This is the only way. It's the only way. If you know your position is shaky, you train more or you train harder. And that will make you better as an athlete. This is the only way of being the best. And you have a chance now for the kids to be able to live it. I wish I could go back to a pitch today.
Yeah, me too.
And, whenever my son is playing, I'm kind of jealous of him. He's 15 now, he's at the academy. He's able to make the skills, and he got called up with national team. I see myself when I got called up also. So the emotions are back. So I know how he feels. And I want all the kids in Dubai to be able to feel why and how we felt coming into a 60,000 pitch. It's possible. That feeling you can't beat. Honestly, you can't beat. Playing a World Cup, you can't beat. Going national team, wearing the shirt, you can't. And if you told me when I was 13 or entering the academy, do you think you can reach the top? I would have said no. Why? Because when the kids had 2 training sessions a day, I had 1 a week. When I reached the academy at 15, those kids already had pre-formation, pre-academy, from 10 to 15, 2 training sessions a day. I had 1 a week. So count the hours of training session I had, count theirs. But from the minute I got there, we were equal. Of course, they had some advance, but we used to wear the same shirt, share the same dressing room. We had the same coach, so we were equal at that time. I had no excuses. And my dad, I remember the first thing my dad told me, now you reach the academy, you got given everything you want. You have the best of the best. If you don't make it, you are guilty. Yes, he was right.
And talking about academy, you're launching an academy in Dubai? Is something that works?
I
did.
did.
Okay.
I did, and the idea was to be an addition to what's already on the ground. WFL built an ecosystem. DOFA is doing it now, which is good. We need to raise the level, and at the minute, some of the kids was not given the basics of football. Regarding coordination, they are late. Regarding the passing, they are late. Regarding the understanding, they are late. So I was trying, and I will try to be an addition to try catching up on the one that missed, or try to build up from the ground what is required to be an athlete. I'm not talking about being in Man City or Arsenal, but you have enough clubs and enough space in the world to be able to become something into sports, to become someone. And you need to start young, work on the basic. You need to be amazingly good on the basics. The rest, on tactics, you will learn. This, if you don't have it, you can't be a professional. And this is a difference also. Between, you asked me, between professional and amateur. Most of the time, professional, they're very comfortable with the ball. 1-2 two-shot passing, naturally comfortable. Amateur, it's a bit dusty. They have habits that they will repeat, not having the body open. Little details, but details that can change the whole situation of the game. Because if you open yourself 20%, 20 degrees more, you will be able to see the full picture. And it's the same in life. Any job, you need to be able to see out of the box. Some will be in the office, and some will be sitting in the office, but already thinking about the whole world. And you have to be able to do this in any sector in life.
And the club is Dubai. Is it going to be Abu Dhabi?
I want to spray.
Spread it.
It's not one specific. My wish, honestly, would be to make those academies work together. So they should include up to 30% a program that every single kids will do regarding the basics. What should be good for them to do? Working on coordination, body positioning, speed, and ball work. Those aspects should be the same at 30% with every single academy. I guarantee you, if you start today with kids 5, 6 years old working on this aspect, in 5 years you will be shocked. And this is how we work in France.
Yeah.
Something crazy. My son was born in London. He played Man City Academy. When I was at Man City, he played Arsenal Academy. When I got to Montreal, when I played in MLS, he stopped playing for 2 years. He started playing hockey. He's following his friends, For 2 years, he didn't touch a ball. One day, he tells me back, Dad, I want to get back into football. I was like, okay, good. I speak to the guys at the academy. Okay, bring your son. He gets to the pitch. I'm looking at him. I was shocked. No coordination. No touch. No speed. No nothing. I was like... I was really shocked, honestly, because I saw him at a young age. I saw how he was. It was day and night. And I got disappointed. I was like, where is football? But obviously you don't train, you can't keep this.
Of course.
You can't keep up. And during COVID, I started training the kids and he got into football a bit more, but he was not good, let's be honest. And then I trained the kids because 2, 3 kids, I speak to the parents, I can train the kids, at least they can do something, and then can get into one-on-one at the end of session. I make him do coordination, the ladder. He's not interested at all. But when I tell him, okay, now we're going to finish by one-on-one, I put the gloves, I got in goal. They're facing each other. I send the ball and I saw an animal because now it was competition. He wanted to make fun of the other kid. He wanted to show the other kid he was better. I send the ball. He goes. I was like, oh. Second one, he start again. And I see the other kid also good. Same. He used to put the head down. Today I'm happy to see him. He's developed a lot because I see some footage of him. But now I saw kids being fighting in competition. And I was in Montreal. The number 1 sport is hockey. I gave them a task. No matter, ladder. They used to go, tuck, the ladder off. I put it back. They go, ladder off. After 1 month, I wish I could show you the video. You shocked?
Not the same guy anymore.
Quick feet, all of them. No mistakes. After 1 month. So it means if you work the right way, any kid is able to adapt and learn. But you need to start at a young age. When you are 15, you have bad habits. You can change. I'm the perfect example. At 15, I start working really hard. I work on my needs. I was doing my best. I was patient every time. Because when I got given a team to play for, I was on a mission. My target is to become the best of this team. I was not looking at other teams, or they play in a higher level. No. First, become the best here. I became eventually one of the best. Then I shifted to the other group. Okay, now I try to be the best in this group. Eventually, I shifted. Okay, now, until eventually I reach a reserve team, only surrounded by professionals that don't make the first starting 11. So I'm so young, I'm 19, they're talking about buying cars, investing in apartments, like I'm sitting like that, they have kids, they have families, I'm still young, I listen to them, they have professional attitude. So 3 years earlier, I was in my dormitory because I believe into myself. And eventually I started in the first team. After 1 month, I get called up with national team, under 21. From that, I went to the qualification to play European Cup 2006 in Portugal. We went there, we reached the semi-final. And the first game we played Portugal, opening, facing Nani, Quaresma, Moutinho, Raul Meireles. Crazy team, we beat them. And then it went super well, and this competition, you have all the scouts. This is when Arsenal saw me. But Arsenal, people have to know, before I got to Arsenal, they came to the 38 games of my season. And they sent 7 different people to look at me and have a different feedback. And then they decided to. But it was a long process. It doesn't happen from the sky. It doesn't fall from the sky. So anything in life is a grind. And when you got given something, go for it.
Yeah. Look, we can go for another, but let's do quick rapid fire questions.
Yes.
And then we'll end with the last question. Okay. What is your favorite? Who is your favorite player of all time?
Is it done?
Zizou.
Yes.
Okay. What's your superpower?
I feel energy. I can feel people's energy.
Energy. Okay.
Yes.
I hope you're feeling a good one here.
Yes, very good.
If you had to play with one player at any time throughout football, who would it be?
Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho.
Yes.
Magical, huh?
Yes.
What's your life motto?
Being in Dubai?
Dubai life.
Dubai life.
Your most memorable moment as a pro footballer?
I think the day I signed professional. It was scary at the same time because I found myself in front of the big coach. But it was what I've been fighting for all my life. So, yeah.
Best player you've played with?
I think Thierry.
TT.
Yes.
Best player you've played against?
Messi.
Against City, right? And Arsenal.
Arsenal and City. Barcelona.
Yeah, that game.
Barcelona and I faced him Argentina also. He made me.
The game you scored 4 goals.
Yes. But I want to say something. Of course, Messi is for me the best. One player that could have been for me better. Neymar.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
Oh, listen, I faced Bale, Hazard, Messi, Cristiano, name it, Robin, Ribery. The best direct confrontation is Neymar. He smells football. I don't know how to explain. He's light, he's like having fun at the same time.
Yeah.
He makes football look easy. He's unpredictable. You don't know if he's going to make a 1-2 run into space, make a 1-2, but has the ball inside because he makes one, he starts running, and before you touch the ball, as a teammate, he will change. So you understand you have to build with the ball. So he's horrible to mark. Technically, he's beautiful to watch. Honestly, it's like, for me, Messi, obviously.
Yeah.
But Neymar is not far.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, of course, but for me, it's always R9 and Roberto Baggio. Unfortunately, with my 3 favorite players, Baggio, Van Basten, and R9, all injury issues. Yeah. And it's always like, what could have been? But Neymar, he's like skating on ice.
He's dancing. He's dancing. He's light.
Brazilian, he's fast, right? Like everything you think about the Brazilian flair, and prime Ronaldinho as well, as you mentioned. Watching.
Yes.
I actually watched his first game preseason in US. They played when he played for Barcelona. Different level. Best advice you've ever received?
Pray.
I'm into that. Biggest fear?
Many people might not understand because they're not religious. But to lose my spiritual side, honestly. The more I grow up, the more I see this life, and it's scary.
Scary.
It's scary to see people's behavior. It's scary to see what the world became and is becoming.
Yeah.
When I think about what's happening in the world and no one cares, it's scary, honestly, and I don't want to lose what I got given naturally when I was born. This is my biggest fear, honestly, to leave this world
with nothing to show for it.
Yes.
That brings us to the last question. Anybody watching this today who are also people pursuing their own freedom, what advice can you give them to help them achieve that?
Go for it. Just stop thinking about the fail, because we all do the same. We are human beings, we are weak. What about if it's not working? It will work if you decide to make it work. It will work, no matter what you do. If you believe in it, it will work to a point that you will start opening doors for yourself. You will start thinking differently. You will start having business ideas or new ideas. If you stop yourself at the beginning of stage 1, you won't be able to see what stage 3 looks like because you're stuck. But be patient. From stage 1, go to stage 2. Stop looking at others and what everyone is doing, thinking you're going to be Elon Musk tomorrow. It's not happening. It's not falling from the sky. You're not going to get rich from one day to another. It's not like that. You need to work really hard on yourself. But don't forget to include others also. Whenever you do something, the blessing comes from Allah first. But also, don't just go for yourself ready to achieve your dream, squashing others. It's not going to work. The blessing won't be there. You need to be able to go for it and as much as possible, take care of what's around you. This is, I think, to me, the road to success. And success doesn't mean having a lot of money, full bank account. As long as you decide to reach a stage, you reach that stage, for me, it's a step of success.
Absolutely.
But this life draws success as having a lot of money, and no. It's about what you decide to do. If you decide, for example, from here to go, I don't know, if I decide to learn my own podcast, I won't be good maybe at being at your position today. It's a skill. But eventually, if I want to learn that skill, first of all, I'm sitting in front of you. I'll ask you a question. I'll go watch content. I'll go listen advices from the one that make it. Those tools will help me doing what I want to do. But from the beginning, I'm thinking I'm shy, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to start eventually. You need to get started. And just go for it. Just go for it. Just believe.
There are people who are as talented as you as a footballer in other things in life, but they never got on the field. Imagine if you never got on the field with all the talent and all the potential you had. So what you're saying is just get on the field and just one step at a time.
We were talking about America. Something I like about Americans model at school. All the kids, they try every sport, right?
Yep.
So of course I got good in football. But maybe I would have been good for any other sports also. But you will never know unless you do it. So today, let's focus on Dubai. You have Emirati kids. The Arabs are the people that can run endless. They never get tired. They can run so long. They can be very competitive because make a run with them, they will come first. As much as you want, they will come first. Add a bit of skills to this. On the pitch, I believe they will be unstoppable because they can repeat efforts. They can maybe become athletes. Not big, not built, but you don't have to be big to be a football player.
Neymar isn't big.
Neymar isn't big. You don't have to be fast. Iniesta is not fast. You don't have to be tall. Messi is not tall. So this is a proof that you need to develop your brain and develop skills. But someone need to tell them one more time. Because if no one brings you football into your life or something into your life, you're not going to realize, because most of the time it depends about the environment you're in. I was at the academy young in my hometown, not academy. My friends, none of them were playing football from school. They used to play chess. At some point, I started playing chess with them. One day I turned up. What did I tell my dad? I want to stop football, I want to play chess. But why? Because I saw something outside that I tried to copy. So if those kids see any sports today around them, they will try to copy. If you have kids on the street, you throw a ball to them, they will use the ball as a tool. So any object, sport object, a ball, tennis ball, is a tool, it's a powerful tool. And that tool can bring people together and brings people together. Because if you throw a ball, I take example of football, in the middle of nowhere, all the kids, they will forget about where they're coming from or the social life they had, because they will all play together. And if you challenge those kids, you bring them into your environment, the one that you want to teach them, they will come, but you need to be aware of it. So this is, as an ambassador, one more time, my target and my aim, to bring awareness about sports first, get them into sports on the field, and make them realize they can achieve also.
Yeah. Well, Bacary, look, thank you so much for the insights, the value, everything that you've shared, because really this is one of my favorite episodes. I mean, I know we told you 1 hour, but sometimes when the ideas are flowing and things are, we could probably went off for another hour. And second, good luck with all the things that because you're a guy who came to Dubai,
yes,
and you've been adding value since you've been here. I see all the things that you've been doing, and because you're leading with value, because you're looking to make an impact, so there's no doubt in my mind that everything that you're involved with will become successful. So inshallah, wish you all the best, inshallah, and again, thanks for your valuable insight. I love having you on the show.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. I don't like being on the spotlight. I'm not vocal. I don't speak much, but I really enjoy. I was talking about energy. If you bring me or any other player in the right environment, of course the players will open up. Anyone will open up. So thank you for having me, honestly.
Totally, my pleasure.